दीननरं सुपथे परिचालय सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधव देवपदम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। So we are going through first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th chapter. Suta Goswami was inquired by Shaunakadi rishis, what did Vedavyasa do after Narad Goswami disappeared? So Suta Goswami is explaining that after Narada left, Vedavyasa Muni sat in meditation and he meditated upon all the instructions he received from his Guru Narada. And by the power of his meditation or by the influence of pure devotion, his heart got completely cleansed of all unwanted things. Means he has realized devotion to be topmost, and then in such a state he has seen the effulgence of the Supreme Lord, the plenary expansions of him, as well as the Supreme Lord with his own internal energy, his own original form. Also he saw Maya Devi standing at the back of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, feeling very ashamed. We heard purport by Srila Prabhupada yesterday. There is a small segment of purport remains that we will complete today and then continue from there. अवरोहवादी व विष्णुर अवतार श्रवणे सौभाग्यवान व्यक्ति बहिर्जगतेर भोक्तृत्व अभिमान व अहंकार परिहार करिया श्रौतपथ ग्रहण करिया लाभवान हन. There are two paths. One is called Aroha, other is called Avaroha. Aroha means ascending process and Avaroha means descending process. Those who accept the ascending process means top to bottom, understanding the Supreme through our mundane conception. And Avaroha means top to bottom approach, that is understanding the Supreme as it comes from the parampara lineage, in the lineage. So those who are Avarohavadis means those who are following the parampara system, they hear about the glories or the manifestations of Supreme Lord Vishnu in this material world through proper, bona fide gurus or in the disciplic succession, and they will thus be freed from all kinds of material vices and mundane egos, and thus they will be extremely benefited due to their acceptance of Shrauta Marga, the hearing process. Means those who are Avarohavadis, those who are accepting the descending process, they get extreme benefit by the process of listening. Means their only process of understanding Supreme Lord is through sound, through listening from a bona fide parampara. Otherwise, when we cannot perceive the Supreme Lord with any of our sense organs, how can we know anything about Him? We heard previously one example. When a mother does not say to the child that I am your mother, how will the child understand ever in his entire lifetime? Even if he goes on doing the DNA test of so many women and men in this world, he might come to some conclusion by some chance. But it is very, very difficult. But when it comes from above, when the mother says, when the father says that I am your mother, I am your father, then it's an easy process. So, similarly, for a child, just like for a child to conceive or understand who his parents are, in a similar manner for us also it is very, very difficult to perceive or understand who our master is. So the best process is the process of listening. Shri Vyasa Tanai Akumar Brahmachari Vishaya Bhoga Birato Jatarati श्री शुकदेवेर बाह्य प्रतीति रहित हवा काले श्री गुरु व्यासेर निकट होइते श्रीमद् भागवत श्रवणेर अधिकार होइयाछिलो. Now one part of the question remains of the Shaunaka rishis. They also inquired, Sukadeva Goswami has completely transcended all the material modes of nature. He was completely fixed in Brahman. Why then did he hear Srimad Bhagavatam or speak Srimad Bhagavatam at the place of Parikshit Maharaj by staying for such a long time? When a person is completely free from all mundane designations and everything, why would he show any inclination to even hear to this topic of Srimad Bhagavatam? So here, Prabhupada is telling that the son of Vedavyasa, Akumar Brahmachari, celibate right from his birth, Vishayabhoga Virata Jatarati Shukadev, completely free from all mundane desires, and Jatarati, in whom there is an attachment to the Absolute. He has no attachment to the Supreme Lord, but he has attachment to the Absolute. Shukadever बाह्य प्रतीति रहित हवा काले श्री गुरु व्यासेर निकट होइते श्रीमद् भागवत श्रवणेर अधिकार होइयाछिलो. He got the eligibility to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from his own father and guru Sri Vedavyasa. Krishnetaro विषय भोग निरस्त हवाय तिनी ताहार प्रपंचे विचरण कालेर शेष दिन पर्यंत श्रीमद् भागवत आलोचना करियाछिलेन. Because he was completely free from any desire other than Sri Krishna till the time he performed pastimes in this material world, he spoke only about Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami did not speak anything other than Srimad Bhagavatam. We may say, oh, Sukadeva Goswami spoke only for 7 days when Parikshit Maharaj was about to die. He gave the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam and only once. No. Entire life he was speaking only on Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why speaking Srimad Bhagavatam or for 7 days or listening Bhagavatam for 7 days is not, what do you call, prescribed by our previous acharyas. They are completely against this particular conception also, that you should hear Bhagavatam for 7 days, Bhagavat Saptah. No, they are not. They are completely against that, because Bhagavat not Saptah, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day you have to sing the glories of Bhagavatam, or discuss the topics, or hear the topics, or speak about them every day. That should become our daily life, daily activity, not a week's activity in our entire lifetime. So here he is telling that for the rest of his life, means from the point when he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from his guru Vedavyasa, up unto the rest of his life, he completely spoke about Srimad Bhagavat only. Mukta Gane Srimad Bhagavat Path Vyatita are Anna Kono Kritya Nai. Those who are liberated, they don't perform anything other than speaking about the glories of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Nothing else. They only talk about Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. जड़ भोगरत व्यक्तिगण श्रीमद् भागवत महिमा श्रवण करिले ताहादेर नश्वर भोगासक्ति नित्य कालेर जन्य स्तब्ध हইবে. And one side, the pure devotees, they talk only about Srimad Bhagavatam. They don't speak anything else, and they don't do anything else. They take pleasure in singing the glories of the Supreme Lord or Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, they don't engage in any other activity. And on the other hand, those who are materially motivated, or those who have material desires, even they will be purified upon hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. All the sense gratificatory desires will be finished by listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. Mukta Purusha Ganai Hari Sevai Adhikari. In fact, only those who are liberated, they are eligible for the service of Supreme Lord. Nobody else. Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunaत्मकम paro api manute anartham tat kritanchaabhi vadyate. সেই মায়ার দ্বারা জীবের স্বরূপ আবৃত ও বিক্ষিপ্ত হইয়া জীব সত্ত্ব রজস্তম এই ত্রিগুণাত্মক জড়াতীত হইয়াও আপনাকে জড়দেহ মন ও বুদ্ধি জ্ঞান করে তাদৃশ ত্রিগুণাত্মক অভিমানজাত কর্তৃত্বাদি মূলে সংসার বাসনা লাভ করে. So further, Vedavyasa also saw this. In the previous verse, we heard Vedavyasa saw the Supreme Lord, all the expansions of Supreme Lord, and also Brahman, the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. And behind Krishna, he saw Maya Devi also. He saw that. And now in this verse, it is being said that Vedavyasa also saw that through that Maya, the living entities Swarupa, the real identity, has been covered, and they have forgotten their actual self. Maya has two roles: Swarupatmika, Vikshepatmika. Avaranatmika, Vikshepatmika. Avaranatmika means covering. The Maya covers the living entity's real identity. And Vikshepatmika means she makes the living entity averse to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. These are the two roles of Maya, Avaranatmika, Vikshepatmika. So, he saw, Vedavyasa Muni could clearly see how Maya is covering all the living entities with her with her illusion, and how she is diverting all the living entities away from Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Now we know only by theory that Maya is covering us, Maya has made us averse to Supreme Lord, but Vedavyasa Muni could personally see how this is happening. Like this is a science that is to be realized. It's not something that one can understand by academic study. It's not possible. It is something that one needs to realize. In the laboratory, there is a theory class and there is a practical class. In the theory, everything is being taught. This and this gives this plus this gives this, and whatever, all the theory, chemistry theory, or what, and computer theory, everything is being taught. And then in the practical class, you need to apply all whatever you have heard, and then you will come to, then your conclusion will be very profound. Yes, otherwise simply we read and we by heart it, there will be no understanding of it, proper understanding of it. So in a similar manner, when one meditates upon the instructions received from Sri Guru, then by the grace of Sri Guru, just like Narada, Vedavyasa, he could see the living entity, how the living entity is covered. Now we get so many questions, isn't it? We have so many questions. Why did we become averse to Krishna? When did the universe expand, or when did we come into existence? Why we got this material world? We have so many questions, isn't it? And certain questions seem very, they don't seem answered. Some say that Jiva has fallen from Vaikuntha. Some say the Jiva cannot fall from Vaikuntha. There is a confusion. What is the Jiva has fallen? Because Swarupe Savar Golokete Sthiti. It is said, those who say, they give argument, Swarupe Savar Golokete Sthiti. By one's own nature, everyone is in Goloka. Means we have fallen from Goloka only. But on the other hand, it is said, Yad Gatva Nanivartante Tadham Parma Mama. If one comes to me, he will never fall down. What is right? Whether we are fallen from Goloka or we have never been into Goloka. What is right? So much confusion. But when one closely meditates upon the teachings of Sri Guru, prays for his grace, serves him through devotional attitude with firm faith, then all these things will be automatically revealed. Then no one will have to, no one will, diversify us. No one can deviate us from such an understanding, because it has become very, very profound. So Vedavyasa Muni, what he did is that, what he could see is how Maya is covering and making the living entities forgetful of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, even though the living entity is superior to the three modes of material nature, Sattva, Raja, Tama. These are in Maya. But living entity is a superior energy, is not inferior energy. Living entity is a superior energy to Maya. Maya means Trigunatmika Maya, not Maya Devi. Maya Devi is Lord's own internal potency or external potency. He is not above Maya. But he is definitely above this Prakriti nature. But still he is bound by the material nature. He is above mind, but still he is bound by mind. He is above, the body, but still he is covered by the body. Or he thinks he is the body. So, how this is happening? Vedavyasa could see very clearly. A superior principle, how can that superior principle be covered by an inferior principle? And how, due to that, the living entity has become ignorant of his real self, thinking that material requirements are my true requirements. How did all this happen? Vedavyasa Muni could see all of this in his trance or in his meditation. He saw how living entities are getting trapped in this material world and how they are undergoing various troubles in this world. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, যদি বলেন দেখুন শ্রী ভগবানের রূপ গুণ লীলা মাধুর্য বর্ণনের নিমিত্ত ভগবানের দর্শন অপেক্ষণীয় কিন্তু ব্যাসদেবের মায়া দর্শন কি জন্য? Now Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is posing a very very nice question which probably none of us have got, or maybe a few of us have got. The question is that now Vedavyasa has to write about Supreme Lord, his glories, his pastimes, his activities, about his abode, etc. Therefore, realization about Supreme Lord is important, is required to be able to write about him. Then what is the importance of Maya? Maya is a Viparita Shakti, it's a completely opposite to Supreme Lord and his abode. Why is it important that he has to see Maya? He has seen Krishna, okay, understood, fine, I agree. To describe the glories of Krishna it is required. But why Maya is required? Did anyone of you get this question? No? তাহার অপেক্ষায় বলিতেছেন ইয়া সম্মোহিতঃ, অর্থাৎ যে মায়ার দ্বারা সম্মোহিত হইয়া জীব নিজেকে ত্রিগুণযুক্ত মনে করে, means even though the living entity belongs to a supreme principle, how come he is trapped in this material world? In order to know that Maya Shakti is also to be known. Of course, Maya Shakti is from Krishna only, definitely. Because Lord has internal potency, external potency, all these things. The Lord is completely understood when all these potencies are completely known. So, why the living entities are getting deluded, this he has understood. ইহার এইরূপ অর্থ যাহার জন্য শ্রী ভাগবতের আরম্ভের অভিলাষ, সেই জীব মায়া রোগগ্রস্ত, কি প্রকারে তাহার ভগবানের মাধুর্য নিজে আস্বাদন করিবে। Now, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is telling that the living entities, they are diseased, they have got some sickness. Why? Because they have no desire to hear about Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. They have got material disease, it's called Bhavaroga, it's a disease of this material world. So, अतएव তাহার রোগ দর্শন ব্যতীত চিকিৎসা হইবে না, আর চিকিৎসা ব্যতিরেকে সেই রোগীর কি করিয়া ঔষধ ও পথ্যের ব্যবস্থা হইবে। So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is mentioning what is the significance or what is the importance of taking darshan of Maya. Because Krishna is supreme, his pastimes are infinite and supreme, and they are highly attractive. But still the living entities, being conditioned in this material world, they have no taste towards it. Why? What is the reason? For this, one has to understand what is the disease, what is the cause of this disease, and what is the medicine to cure this disease. You understand the point? Before one has to cure something, a doctor, he has to, subject the patient to different tests. And then after he brings the test reports, oh, this is your problem and this is the cause of your problem, therefore the line of treatment will be this. So, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is telling that it is important to understand Maya also, because why the living entities are conditioned, what disease they have got, and what is the cause of that disease, what is the disease, what is the cause of the disease, and what is the cure of that disease. এই জন্য মায়া ও জীবেরও দর্শন অবশ্যই অপেক্ষণীয়. Therefore, it is very, very important, or it is also essential to understand the living entities and Maya also. Having darshan, because you see here, Vedavyasa Muni is going to give us the medicine for all the living entities to cure from the material disease. Therefore, before that, he has to analyze what is the disease, that is Maya. How is Maya attacking everyone? Like, the doctor, expert doctor, he knows what kind of cells are going inside and they are disturbing your digestive system or metabolism or some other things, what hormones it is affecting and impacting. All these things doctor will understand, he will carefully analyze. Therefore, now Vedavyasa Muni is also, by seeing Maya, he is understanding what is Maya, how it is making the living entities forget their real self and become averse to Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. जे मायार द्वारा जीव सम्यक रूपे मोहित होइया अर्थात स्वरूपेर आवरण ओ विक्षेपेर नित्य कृष्ण दासत्व रूप निज स्वरूपेर आच्छादने मायार दासत्वेर द्वारा भ्राम्यमान होइते छे. Because by this, by understanding Maya, he will be able to understand in totality how they are getting deluded in the first place, how they are being covered and diverted away from Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and being forgetful of their eternal position as being servant of Supreme Lord. They are considering themselves as servants of Maya. Why is this? What is the reason for this? Jadiu se jeev sarupata sei mayar gunatrayir atirikta. Even though the living entities by nature are above the three modes of material nature, Atma is nitya shuddha. It is eternal and pure. It is not under the three modes of material nature. Anything that is under three modes of material nature, it comes to creation and it ceases to exist. But Atma is not like that. It's not coming into creation, nor does it cease to exist. It's always there. It is aja, it has no birth. Atma has no birth. Therefore, Atma is superior to the three modes of material nature. If it is superior, then why is it conditioned? Why is it conditioned if it is superior? Because the superior energy cannot come under the control of inferior energy. Just like the Prime Minister is there. He is the controller of everything. There is no reason for the Prime Minister to be controlled by any ordinary minister, because he has got full powers over any other minister. But when you see that the Prime Minister is under the control of a particular minister, then you will have to certainly understand that he being a superior, he is under the control of inferior, means some weakness is there here. Means this minister knows some weak points of the minister, of Prime Minister, or this minister has some other evidence, evidence against him. So that Prime Minister is subject or controlled by the cabinet minister, ordinary cabinet minister. One will be able to understand in deep when they dig deep into it. In a similar manner, Jiva being superior to three modes of material nature, that Jiva has come under the subject of three modes of material nature means there should be some weakness of the living entity. What is that weakness? Why the living entity has become inferior to three modes of material nature, even though he is superior? Why he has come under the control? गुणेर द्वारा विरचित अनर्थ ताहार अभिमानेर द्वारा प्राप्त होइया थाके. And through the material ego, they are their heart is filled with various anarthas. Anartha means, the first anartha is Swarup Brahm, misconception of the self. That is the first and foremost anartha that we have. And due to that, Asat Trishna, desiring for that which is not required. Asat, temporary. Trishna, desiring for temporary material things. Because Swarup Brahm, I have misidentification of the self. I think I am the body. Therefore, I think that my requirements are material things. My requirement are material relations. My requirement is this material world. So, the root cause is Swarupa Brahm. Why is this Swarupa Brahm happening is what Vedavyasa Muni had seen. How Maya is, encapsulating all the living entities. Anarthopashamam sakkhat bhakti yogam adhokshaje lokasya janato vidvans chakre satvata sanhitam. इंद्रिय ज्ञानातीत विष्णुते अव्यवहित भक्ति अनुष्ठित होइले संसार भोग दुख निवृत्त होय दर्शन करिलेन. And he also saw that how the living entities who are encapsulated by Maya, how can they overcome that? He saw that when the living entities are continuously engaged in the service of Vishnu, then one will be freed from this anarthas. Means he found the disease, the root cause of the disease, and therefore he could also see the cure for this disease. The cure for this disease is service of Supreme Lord Vishnu. For how much time? Continuously, avyavahita, without any break. Because the moment we shall give a break to devotion, that time is enough for Maya to enter. Maya does not require a lot of time to enter into our heart. It takes a lot of time for Krishna Bhakti to enter into heart. Good things take time. Bad things, they don't need any time. Isn't it? Whatever we have learnt, good things, over several years, that will be finished simply by 1 minute of bad association. Just 1 minute of bad association is good enough to wash away all the good things that we have heard over several years. Because by nature we are attracted to the material things, material desires. এই সমুদায় दर्शन करिया सर्वज्ञ वेदव्यास এই বিষয়ে अनभिज्ञ लोकेर मंगलेर निमित्त श्रीमद् भागवत नामक पारमहंसी संहिता रचना करिलेन. So now, after seeing Krishna, after seeing Maya, after seeing how Maya is covering all the living entities, and further after seeing how to again uncover the living entities' material covering, after seeing all these things, Vedavyasa Muni thought about the welfare of all the living entities. And thus he has written Srimad Bhagavata. The great scripture, Srimad Bhagavata, has been written by Vedavyasa Muni after this. Anarthas are the disease of the living entities. Anarthas, the unwanted things, the vices in the heart, they are the disease of the living entities by Maya. That is the coronavirus that has attacked all the living entities. And what is the medicine for that coronavirus? The medicine is anartha upashamam. How can these anarthas be gone? That is sakshat bhakti yoga adhokshaje. It's only possible by performing devotion to Adhokshaja Bhagavan, Supreme Lord Krishna or Vishnu, who is beyond the transcendental, who is beyond the mundane sense organs. That is the only way. Now the question may arise, okay, you are telling that I have anarthas, and if I have to remove my anarthas, I have to serve Vishnu, but you are telling that Vishnu is beyond, the material knowledge, beyond the sensory knowledge. How can I worship him? If he is beyond my senses or the knowledge of my senses, how can I even know him or how can I even worship him? That is the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. How, in the conditioned state, we are conditioned now. We are completely under the spell of the three modes of material nature. And we have to worship He who is transcendental to the material modes, who is beyond the knowledge of the sense organs. And that is possible through Bhakti Yoga. And how that is the how to take the medicine. Medicine is to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And how to do that is also mentioned. Like a doctor, if you go to a doctor, he does not will say that you take this medicine. He will simply not say take this medicine. How to take it? Before meals, after meals, before bed, or empty stomach, with water, with cold water, with milk, or I have to swallow it, or I have to chew it, I have to lick it. There are different medicines. Or I have to put it in the water and dissolve it and take. What is the process to do it? How to take this medicine? That's also important. Simply telling that take this medicine is not important, is not enough. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the scripture after seeing that this is the disease and this is the cure for the disease. Vedavyasa Muni, in order to bring welfare upon all the living entities. That's why Vedavyasa is called Jagat Guru. He saw that for whatever I have given so far, karma, jnana, yoga, tapasya, etc., whatever I have given so far, that is further deviating the living entity or taking the living entity away from the service of Supreme Lord. Which is the disease. It is the disease. And by all these processes, the disease is only intensifying. It's not being cured by any of these things. The cure is only Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, for the welfare of all the living entities, even though he has written all the scriptures, including Mahabharata, he has written Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the question that Suta Goswami is answering. Saunaka has inquired, right? That why did he write Srimad Bhagavatam, even though he has compiled so many scriptures? What is the purpose of it? That's answered here. Okay. There is a purport by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. We will read 2 days later. Tomorrow we will hear something about Janmashtami. Day after tomorrow we will hear something about Nandotsav and also about Sri Swami Maharaj. And then after that we will continue. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Panchatattvatmak Shri Gaura Hari ki Jai. Paramaraditam Patita Pavana Stotra Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishvam Vishnupad Pramanta Stotra Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Daita Madhava Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. जगत गुरु श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय. श्री श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय. श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ षड गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय. श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेदव्यास महामुनि की जय. श्री नारद गोस्वामी की जय. श्रीमद् भागवत श्रवणकारी भक्त वृंद की जय. जय श्री श्री चातुर्मास्य व्रत की जय. श्री कृष्ण जन्माष्टमी अधिवास तिथि पूजा की जय. श्री श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. समागत हरिकथा श्रवणकारी भक्त वृंद की जय. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.